Alright, so what's going on, everyone? Today we're going to do a video on Mara. Currently the market did go higher than what we expected it to do. I think we did an update video like beginning of the month, and we didn't change our idea of what we expected the price to do, and it did go higher. It hit our ultimate TP price right there on the July the 10th. It exceeded that, so if you was able to ride that a lot higher, kudos, congratulations to you, because the market in Mara ultimately topped out right there around $21.50 of 32% run of when we initially created the prediction. All right, so let's go and get rid of that. Welcome to the channel, everyone. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. You're not going to get any hype, fear, FUD, FOMO, whatever it is that is being created by other influencers on this particular platform. However, we're going to give you a analysis of looking at how the market speaks by simply looking at the price bars and the volume. All right, so let's clean up this chart first. We're going to go ahead and get rid of these areas of selling that the sellers didn't do a pretty good job at. The buyers completely annihilated those sellers at those points, but they did create a new point right here. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and mark this point as an area of increased selling, meaning if the market in Mara wants to continue to go higher, they will have to deal with these sellers right in this area right there, right in that pocket. Okay, now we already got a point to where we see potential areas that we can see a bounce. Okay, this is the first area right here. Yesterday's price action, you can see that buyers actually stepped in a little sooner than hitting that buy pocket. You should be able to see that on like on 1 hour chart. So take a look at this on the 1 hour. You can see that the market initially did hold this point right here. Okay, so let's bring this over here to the left a little bit, and you can see that right here is where those buyers came through and supported this stock. Okay, now this just may be a momentary thing. It doesn't mean that this is the actual bottom. This is just a point to where the market buyers are at least trying to alleviate some of the pain that occurred in the market on yesterday's trading. That's it. Okay, now you can see it right here that this is a pretty big area of selling there too. So we're going to mark this area as selling. Okay, let's look at this on the 5 hours. So we get it pretty big. Okay, so the 5 hour bar of selling can occur right here too. Okay, so yeah, we like that. All right, so we got the areas pinpointed of where we think majority of sellers and buyers to be. Okay, this is a pretty good signal that at least for the time being the market is going to be supported, because we saw a pretty big move to the downside, but we didn't see a continuation. The market stopped and it went up. Now, I'm not too convinced that this is the bottom yet in Mara, simply because we really didn't see a powerful move taking the price all the way back up to the high of that 330-minute price bar. Now, if we would have seen a move to bring price all the way back up to where it started, that's pretty bullish. But we only made minimal movement to the upside following that weakness. Okay, now here is Mara on the 2. Okay, so this is the printed 2-day price bar, and we have a lot of emphasis being created by sellers, starting with that 2-day bar right there. There was the first hint that something was about to go down in the market in Mara. The sellers were telling us, be prepared, I'm ready to sell now. The next 2 days probably tricked some people. It faked them out, because the market in Mara didn't go down. It went right back up. But then you got more confirmation of the sellers saying like, yeah, psych, you thought we wasn't going to sell to you. They came back on the 2 right here, and then you got follow through on that one. So it's a lot of weakness right there on the 2. Look at this on the 3 as well. We got this emphasis of market weakness on this 3-day price bar. Again, we might get a small reaction movement to the upside, which is why we created these 2 sell pockets on the chart for Mara. We want to see, this will give us better probabilities of price in Mara going higher outside of where we suspect it could go if it breaks these 2 sell pockets. It's a pretty strong market if it does that. Take a look at this on the 4. Here's Mara on the 5, and so far for the week. Okay, so here it is on the 330. Like I said, we might see another bounce occur into the market in Mara, but we're going to go ahead and anticipate some lower prices here. Yeah, I'm not too convinced that this market is going to reclaim these sell pockets yet, because of this bar and this bar. You can see that the strength currently isn't in favor of the buyers right now. Now, if we get another bounce down here and it bounces here, then we might see another big push to the upside. So we definitely need to pay attention to what happens in this area today. Okay. So let me run this back to the daily, and we're going to play some weakness in the market for Mara. And our first target is going to be here. Now, I'm not going to place this as a target right now, but you could take some off the table because we understand that there's still a potential for buyers to bounce price and run up. So if you do that, take a little bit off at the high of that sell pocket. It's not much, maybe 2.5%. At the low of the pocket, like 2.62. But we're going to try to run this down because of the 2, the 3, and the 4 time frames. Right here, this middle buy pocket, $16.26. That's 7.5% move down there. And then we're going to target this next area around $15. That's 15.47% move area there. All right, so let me lock this in, and we're going to go ahead and save it. And we're going to see what the market does going into the future. Let me know your thoughts, because you can see that right here for Mara, it's an opportunity for the market to bounce within this area. So I'm gonna keep this here so that you'll know I talked about it, and I brought this to your attention, that we can see the market run down to this pocket, this trend line, and see another opportunity to see another bounce to where it can continue to go up. All right, so let me know your thoughts. Make sure you maintain profit, and as always, trade different.